If you're like me, the reason you clicked on this video is you're very curious about this Oliver 155. I have the 735 from Dewalt. And so I was looking at actually changing out the straight blade head for the helical head when I came across this actual planer. And as I was reading it, for the first time, I felt like a tool company had actually listened to a lot of the weekend warriors and the woodworkers that work out of their garage. And they put together a tool that actually has all of the features that we want and need in a price point that's reasonable. And I was just really excited. And so I ordered this. I got it today. So we are going to unbox it, put it together, fire it up, and we're going to see what this thing is all about. I'm also going to compare it to my 735 because I have a feeling a lot of you guys might be like me and just trying to determine whether or not it's time to upgrade your 735, whether you just want to swap out and go with a helical head, or hey, do I really upgrade and go with a whole new planer from Oliver? So hopefully I answer your questions. Please leave comments if you do have questions. I'll do my best to answer those. But I tell you what, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive in and let's get started. You guys are gonna have to forgive me because it is literally like 100 degrees outside. I have my fan running, so it's hot.
If you're like me, you probably run a ridiculous amount of lumber through the Dewalt DW735. It's been the go-to planer for many woodworkers for years, and for good reason. It's affordable, it's portable, and it gets the job done. But lately I found myself asking if there's something better out there, something that doesn't just work, but works smarter for the kind of builds I'm doing now. And that's what led me to the Oliver 155. Right away, the first spec that jumped out was the capacity, 15 inches wide. That's a big deal. The 735 maxes out at 13 inches, and while that may not sound like much, those extra 2 inches open the door to planing full panels without having to break them down or glue them back up afterwards. It's a small change with a big impact on workflow. Second, power. The 735 runs on a 15 amp, 120 volt universal motor. The Oliver, on the other hand, is rocking a 2.5 horsepower, 240 volt induction motor. That's a serious step up, not just in raw power, but in how that power is delivered. Induction motors run quieter, they last longer, and deliver smoother, more consistent torque. You really feel that difference in hardwoods. I've had the 735 struggle on white oak when I tried to take off more than a 32nd at a time. With the Oliver, I'm expecting cleaner cuts, fewer passes, and way less strain on the machine. And speaking of clean, this thing ships with a true helical cutter head, not a spiral knockoff, not a retrofit, but factory installed. That's a huge upgrade in surface quality and noise reduction compared to the straight blades on the 735. Now yes, you can upgrade the Dewalt with a Helix cutter head, but that's a $500 add-on, a voided warranty, and a Saturday afternoon you'll never get back. The Oliver also includes a digital readout for cut depth, something I've always wished the 735 had out of the box. No more guessing or trying to sneak up on a repeatable thickness. It's a small touch that makes a big difference when you're batch planing parts. Sure, there's aftermarket options for the 735, but the two I tried were never consistent. Now despite all this, Oliver kept the footprint tight. I'm mounting it on the same mobile base I used for my 735, but let's be clear, this thing weighs in at around 160 pounds. It's not the same definition of portability. It's built for power and stability, not for tossing in the back of your truck. And in my opinion, they focused on maintaining a compact footprint, not necessarily prioritizing portability. So that's what you're getting. Wider cuts, more power, quieter operation, and more precise repeatability. But is it enough to justify the upgrade? Well, that's what we're about to find out.
First impressions, this thing is heavy. Holy much heavier than the 735. All right, what comes in the box? You get obviously the jointer. Like a dummy, I just called it a joiner. Meant to say planer. Forgive me. You will get your adjustment knob along with the hardware to attach it, the dust shroud along with 4 screws to attach the dust shroud. You'll get an extra set of blades to replace blades individually. Obviously, it doesn't come with a full set, but it's nice that they included at least some. It comes with the instruction manual and then 2 of the extension tables along with the hardware to attach the extension cables. So that is what is in the box, and let's put this bad boy together. Okay, to install the adjustment wheel, it's pretty easy. It's a D-shaped ring right here, so it'll only go on one way. It comes with the screw to attach it, a spring, and a washer. Washer goes on first, then the spring, and then we'll install it on there. All right, pretty easy. All right, the dust shroud looks pretty straightforward. So you've got your 4 holes in your dust shroud, the corresponding 4 holes on the machine. So it looks, you use these screws right here. Okay, kind of off the bat, I'm gonna say I'm not a big fan of the way that this attaches. I wish it had something that would allow it to lap over and sit, because it makes the alignment a little more pain in the butt. Maybe I can make something. Oliver, if you watch this, you might rethink how you want to attach that. But it's secure, very secure. You know, as I mentioned, I'm going to be putting the new Oliver on this card. I built this a while back, actually when I had the lunchbox planer, which I think is the 734 before I got the 735. But I can't tell you the amount of board feet that I have run through this machine. It has been great. If I had complaints, I'd say you really can't take large amounts of material off at a time. Usually I stuck around 1/32, which means if you were really having to plane something down, it was a lot of passes through this machine. But guys, I can't say anything bad about this 735 at all. I probably will actually keep it, to be honest, just in case I don't like the Oliver. I'm not here to diss this machine at all. Just wanted to take a moment to appreciate it for what it is, and you know, just the projects and the fun that I've had with it. So all right, let's go ahead and swap this out and we'll get the Oliver on here. So the front and back extension tables are pretty straightforward. You get these screws and you just, you know, screw them in. The bottom first, put the first 2 in the bottom on each side. Grab the extension table. Okay, let it rest on that bolt you put in, and then put in the tight. Make sure it seats all the way through those holes. We'll check it for flatness here in a minute. Tighten everything up. And there's 4 bolts, little screws. One in the front, one in, you can't see it, but there's 2 on each side. Maybe I can spin the camera around. You can see 1 and 2. And there's on the outside, or on the other side, probably a better way to say it, they're going to need to be adjusted. Flatness is, I'm pretty far off. The way that I usually do this is I will put my straight edge all the way to one side, unscrew these, lift this up to where it's square, and then do the other side as well. I have found that that's a lot easier than messing with trying to do it all four at the same time.
When setting the flatness of your extension tables, take your time. It's a game of patience. I had to go back and forth a few times making small, precise adjustments. The goal is to get them dead flat with the planer bed, or even just slightly higher at the ends. That small tweak can go a long way in minimizing snipe and keeping your cuts clean from start to finish.
All right, that's the money shot. The helical head, you've got 40 of those blades. And just real quick, the difference between like a straight blade, a spiral head, or a helical head, the straight blades and the spiral bits, the blades actually hit the board square. And so a lot of times that causes them to be louder. And with straight blades especially, it causes a lot more tear out. But in this, you can see the blade actually enters at an angle on a helical head, and that actually slices the wood, reduces friction, reduces heat, and actually is a heck of a lot quieter. So that's the difference for those of y'all that may not know, but wow. All right, guys, so here's the front panel that we're looking at. So on-off switch here. This changes your speed from 22 feet per minute to 12 feet per minute. After reading the instructions, it does say only switch it when it is moving. This is your cut depth indicator. And very nice, like the 735, it does go all the way across, which I really, really like. This is your digital readout right here. I haven't plugged it in yet, so we'll mess with that here in a minute. This is your pre-stops, and you've got pre-stops for 1 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, quarter, and 3/16. And then, of course, over here is your height adjustment up and down. So pretty basic, looks pretty cool, but I thought I'd give y'all kind of a sneak peek of what that looks like. And then I'm going to point down here. You probably can see it in the reflection. These are your actual anti-kickback here, which are very, very nice. You get those on very high-end machines too. I'm not sure if it's translated in the camera. I hope that it is, but you can see them right here. I've got the table set. I got them leveled. She's hooked up. She's plugged in, so we're ready to go. Just plugged it in, and so to set the DRO, the instructions basically say drop it down to the 3/16 stop, and then hold the ABS button for 2 seconds, and it's going to reset to 185, which is 3/16 in decimal form, and then it should be ready to go. All right, let's fire it up. Wow. Man, that is quiet. All right, here we go. Got some walnut here we're going to run through. First test run, let's see. Take it down 1/32. All right, let's cut the... Wow, good clean cut, smooth, very little snipe actually too. And it's quiet, guys. It is so quiet. Wow. It doesn't even sound like that motor in is struggling. I'm gonna go with a 16th inch cut. I don't see any tear out, and it is keeping that walnut figuring. It's keeping it, and that was a 16th inch cut on walnut, and it didn't even bog that motor down a little bit. And it's so quiet. I'm gonna do a DB test. I don't know how well this DB tester works, but I downloaded it on my phone. Right now, the machine's not even running. The machine's not even running. I've got my dust collection on, and it's running 80. So I'm going to turn the machine on. So the dust collection is louder than the planer right now. crazy, absolutely crazy. So for comparison reasons, I went ahead and threw the 735 back up here because I'm telling you, man, it's amazing how quiet it is compared to this thing. All right, we got our digital readout at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to run this. We'll grab our micrometers and we'll see how well it is out of the box. I know there still may be some adjustment, but I'm kind of interested to see just how close that is. So let's go ahead and run this through. 17/32. I mean, it's going to equate to about a 32nd of an inch off. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, first impressions. Wow, I'm impressed. I tell you what, I bought this machine. Oliver didn't send it to me, so I don't have a dog in the hunt. I'm just going to tell you how I feel about it. Was not expecting the power that this thing has, nor how quiet it was. So I think those probably are the two biggest things that I found to be the most surprising. Normally when you're running things through the 735 or the 734, you can hear that motor, and it's straining to work on a deeper cut, especially on wider boards. And this thing just slices them and pushes them through like butter. And it's smooth, very little snipe at the end. So I am telling you, I think this was the right choice for my shop. I do have a small shop, so the smaller footprint was extremely important. I kind of wanted the features that come in the floor standing unit, but I did not want to commit to that same footprint. Now y'all might laugh and say, well, this cart's about the same size, but this thing's mobile and I have my drill press mounted on it as well. So I'm able to move this out of the way as I work in my shop to kind of accommodate my specific workflow. If you're thinking about upgrading your 735 even to the helical head, by the time you add the helical head, by the time that you add the digital readout, you're going to be close to the price point. This is $1,800. You're going to be close to this price point, and you're going to get an additional 2 inches of capacity on this machine, as well as that 240 volt, 2.5 horsepower motor. So I would seriously put this kind of in your list, do your research and determine if this is a great fit for you. Guys, I had a lot of fun doing this video. I hope you found it informative. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Help my channel out. I would really appreciate it. But I tell you what, I'm getting excited. We're going to work on a couple of projects with this machine, and I'll do a review probably in the next 3 or 4 months after I've had a lot of time with it, and give you guys my feedback once it's been trial tested within the shop. So we'll see you guys later. Have a great day.